I'm 78 years old now. I say that plainly because it matters. When you get this far, time doesn't feel like a road ahead anymore. It feels like a room behind you, one you're slowly being emptied out of. The furniture is still there. The memories are still there. But you can feel yourself becoming less necessary inside it. Most days are quiet, too quiet. And in that quiet, you start hearing things you spent your whole life drowning out with noise, work, responsibilities, and politeness. What I hear most is my own voice from years ago saying yes when I should have said no. Not loudly, not dramatically, just small, polite yeses. The kind that seem harmless at the time. The kind that make you look like a good person. Asterisk, I didn't know Machiavelli when I was young. I'd heard the name, of course. People used it like an insult, as if power and morality could never sit in the same room. But whether I read him or not, the warning applied to me all the same. Asterisk, power isn't cruelty. Power is boundaries, and I had almost none. Asterisk, at my age, power doesn't mean money or titles anymore. It means something much simpler. It means, when you speak, does anyone truly listen? If you disappeared tomorrow, would your absence leave a space, or just less noise? Asterisk, and the hardest one of all, can you sit alone at night without feeling like you slowly traded your real self for approval? I struggle with that. When I was younger, people liked me. That was my great achievement. Teachers liked me. Bosses liked me. Friends liked me. I wore that like a medal. I thought being agreeable meant being quietly strong. I told myself I was choosing peace, choosing harmony. Asterisk, what I was really choosing was to disappear in a way that looked like virtue. In my 20s, I was newly married and desperate to prove I was dependable. I took extra shifts I didn't need, covered for co-workers who would never do the same for me, laughed at jokes that made me uncomfortable. I told my wife I'd be home late again because the job needed me. I said yes to everyone, except myself. Asterisk, but when you're young, later feels infinite. You believe you're investing. You think one day you'll collect ... asterisk. In my 30s, I moved up at work. Not because I was exceptional, but because I was safe. I never pushed back, never said, that's wrong, or that won't work. The people above me trusted me ... asterisk, not because I was wise, because I was compliant. I remember one meeting like it happened yesterday. A younger colleague proposed an idea I knew would fail. I had the experience. I saw the holes immediately. People looked at me, waiting. I hesitated. Then I looked at the manager. His face said everything. He didn't want truth. He wanted agreement ... asterisk. So I nodded ... asterisk. The project collapsed 6 months later. The young man took the blame. I stayed quiet. I kept my position. I told myself that's just how the world works, asterisk, but something in me shrank that day. I felt it, a quiet folding inward. A piece of self-respect traded for safety. Asterisk, that's the thing about always saying yes. The price is small each time. So small you don't notice you're being emptied. Asterisk, at home I was the same. Decisions happened around me, not with me. Where we lived, how we spent money, which friendships stayed. I called it being easygoing. My wife would smile and say, "You're so patient." But patience can be fear wearing a noble mask. I feared conflict more than I valued honesty. I feared being disliked more than being invisible. I thought saying yes made me indispensable. It doesn't. It makes you replaceable, because you're offering nothing that resists, nothing that defines you. A man without edges is a man people lean on. Until he bends out of shape. Asterisk by my 40s, I had become everyone's safe place. The reliable one. The listener. The man who would always understand, always adjust, always carry more than his share. Asterisk, people brought me their work, their problems, their emotional weight. No one asked what I wanted. And worse, I wouldn't have known how to answer. I hadn't practiced wanting anything. There's a quiet resentment that grows in a life like that. Not explosive, not dramatic, just a slow hardening. You smile less. You feel tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. You start believing the world is unfair, that people take advantage of kindness. I believed that for years. I never realized I had trained them to. Asterisk, Machiavelli warned that the man who tries to be loved by everyone becomes controlled by everyone. I learned that lesson without ever opening his book. Asterisk, the more agreeable I became, the lighter my words grew. When I finally did object, rarely it irritated people. Asterisk, why now? They'd say, good question. The turning point in my life didn't come with a dramatic betrayal or public humiliation. It came quietly, with illness. Asterisk, my wife got sick in my late 50s. A slow decline. Appointments, medications, adjustments. I stepped into the role of the devoted husband completely. I said yes to everything again, every need, every demand, every expectation. Asterisk, inside I was exhausted, scared, angry at the unfairness of it all. I wanted help. I wanted someone to say, you don't have to be strong every second. I said none of that. When she died, people praised me. They called me selfless, noble, devoted. I nodded. I accepted their words like medals pinned onto a uniform I had worn for too long. Asterisk, then they went back to their lives. Asterisk, I was left in a house full of decisions I had never learned to make alone. Silence where conversations used to be, and a terrible realization. No one had ever truly known me, because I had never truly shown myself. Asterisk, grief strips away illusions. It leaves you alone with the truth you postponed for decades. I saw a man who had avoided conflict so completely that he had avoided himself. Asterisk, after retirement, the phone stopped ringing. Work friends vanished. I wasn't useful anymore. No authority. No leverage. No role. Just time. And time is heavy when you've spent your whole life deferring your own existence. Asterisk, I tried to change in my 70s. Tried to speak up more. To say no. But by then, people's understanding of me was set like concrete. I was the agreeable man, the one who would adjust. Asterisk, when I said no, it sounded wrong. Even to me. Asterisk, that's another truth no one tells you. If you spend a lifetime being soft clay for others, you don't suddenly become stone when you decide to. Asterisk, power isn't loud. It's not dominance. It's not control. It's the ability to say, this is where I end and you begin, and have that line respected. I spent decades erasing that line. The cost didn't show up all at once. It appeared in small, quiet ways. Friends who only called when they needed something. Children who stopped asking my opinion. A life that looked full from the outside. and felt strangely hollow inside. Asterisk, I don't blame anyone now. Most people aren't villains. They simply respond to what's allowed. I allowed too much. Near the end of my life, my regret isn't failure. It's delay. I regret believing there would be a better time to stand my ground, a safer moment to disappoint people, a future version of myself who would finally speak. That time never comes. There's a loneliness specific to men like me. Not loud, not dramatic, the quiet kind. The kind where you're surrounded by memories, but unsure how many of them were truly chosen. Asterisk, sometimes I imagine my younger self sitting across from me, nervous, polite, so eager to be liked. I don't scold him. I understand him. He thought kindness was enough. Asterisk. He didn't know that kindness without boundaries dissolves into self-erasure. Asterisk. So if someone hears this and feels uncomfortable, I won't give you instructions. Life doesn't follow rules cleanly. Asterisk, I'll just offer a truth learned too late. Every yes costs something. Sometimes it costs minutes. Sometimes it costs energy. And sometimes it costs your voice. Asterisk, and if you give that away often enough, one day you'll realize no one listens because you trained them not to. Asterisk, I live quietly now. I choose my days carefully. I say no more than I ever have. It doesn't make me powerful in the world's eyes. Asterisk, but for the first time in my life, I feel solid inside my own. That's a strange thing to finally learn at 78, and heavier than I ever imagined.